First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. We have arrived in the then they fight you stage. The SJWs are no longer just ignoring us. They are no longer just laughing at us. Indeed, they seem remarkably afraid of us. Now they are fighting us, and they are doing it by trying to deplatform us. The current wave of censorship that is going on is still going on, because the social justice warriors have smelt blood in the water. I see daily posts from SJWs saying, I'm going to try and get Sargon's channel shut down, I'm going to report this, I'm going to report that. It's not just me, of course. Every other anti-SJW channel that exists is going to be targeted by SJWs to try and get them removed from any platform that they're on, because as far as they're concerned, anything they do to you now is justified. Let's be clear, Alex Jones is not a Nazi, he's a libertarian. He's like a constitutionalist conspiracy theorist, and he says stupid shit on his show. He's being sued by the Sandy Hook parents. They're probably going to win. He's probably going to have to give them a lot of money. That's what justice is going to look like. So why do we need to continue hurting the man? Especially after he has apologised and recanted what he said. Alex Jones signed up to Vimeo, and within 2 days he was suspended. Apparently, new videos uploaded Thursday and Friday violated the site's terms of service for discriminatory and hateful content. We do not want to profit from content of this nature in any way. All of these companies are taking an ideological stand against Alex Jones, and it's not because he is a Nazi. It's because he opposes what they do. He opposes globalism, he opposes open borders, he opposes social justice, he opposes intersectionality. Alex Jones doesn't even swear, and yet he is being targeted as if he's the worst thing in the world. Honestly, Alex Jones, as far as I can tell, most people just consider him to be a meme. This is from that same Engadget article, and Engadget is, I think, is an ex-Gawker property. It's very far left. They say, this leaves Twitter as one of the last remaining holdouts. The social network has continued to allow the conspiracy theorists to operate on its platform without impunity. While Twitter does have a prohibition against hateful content in its terms of service, Jack Dorsey claims Jones hasn't violated any of Twitter's rules since the updated versions went into effect. Conspiracy theories aren't hate content, you lunatics. They're just ridiculous. They're not hate content as far-left ideology would define it, but you are lumping them in because you just want to persecute Jones, because he has an agenda that opposes your agenda. No one thinks this is apolitical. You are going after political targets in order to silence them. That is the purpose of this campaign. But you do remind Twitter that CNN conducted a fact check and found Alex Jones in violation of your rules. So it's not clear what Twitter's doing here, as if a CNN fact check is worth the digital column space. But the thing is, it's not like Twitter aren't still reacting to what Alex Jones is doing. He's not just being given free rein. For example, he had his account temporarily suspended. Alex Jones, Trump must take action against web censorship. Yeah, that's a good call. Excuse me, Mr. President, I realise that you've got, a lot on your plate and you're a busy guy, but all of your supporters are getting tanked out here. They are targeting your base, the alternative media that spread your message. These platforms are deliberately nuking them. The Young Turks were thrilled. They had a justification for why Alex Jones should be censored. Their biggest competitor, incidentally, directly opposing them politically, supporting you, not Hillary, supporting libertarianism, not progressivism, left-wing, right-wing. Amazing that all of the right-wing ones are getting nuked, isn't it? I'm just saying that as someone who wants 4 more years, don't let all of your supporters get nuked. Alex Jones was a huge supporter of Donald Trump. Donald Trump went on his show. Millions of people were exposed to Donald Trump because of Alex Jones, and then they just can him in a day. Surely Trump has something to say about this. I can't believe he's been so quiet about it on his Twitter feed. Where are the condemnations? Where's the threat to regulate social media? Not only are they playing partisan politics against you, but there probably is actually a legal case about banning a bunch of these people from the platforms if you can't block journalists because your Twitter feed constitutes a public space. But more importantly, this is just unfair. This is a deeply unfair system. What they are doing to Alex Jones is something akin to persecution. They are going after him because he's Alex Jones. When Stefan Molyneux receives 2 YouTube strikes within 24 hours, you can be pretty sure that they're going after Stefan Molyneux. These were actually lifted after his fans contacted YouTube, but not many people are in that position. Not many people have this kind of megaphone, and Donald Trump himself said this during his election run. He has seen the media ruin lives, and the only reason it hasn't happened to him is because he had this platform. Well, I'm sorry, but the tech giants that rule the internet are the Fifth Estate. These people are actively ruining people's lives. They are trying to ruin Alex Jones's livelihood. Today, Robert Spencer, the Jewish man who runs Jihad Watch, was pulled from Patreon and MasterCard without warning. And the thing is, this wasn't even Patreon's choice. Patreon have actually been one of the more fair companies in San Francisco to have to deal with. And I can personally vouch for the decency with which they operate. I've had nothing but a neutral and fair service from them. So when they say, "Hi Robert, my name is April and I'm on the trust and safety team here at Patreon, I've been notified by MasterCard that we must remove your account from Patreon effective immediately. MasterCard has a stricter set of rules and regulations than Patreon, and they reserve the right not to offer their services to accounts of their choosing. This is in line with their terms of service, which means it's something we have to comply by. I've paid out the remaining creator balance. Sorry for the inconvenience and frustration this may cause." Why is a credit card company just declining to give a card to just some guy who runs a blog about jihad? Where does that line of logic end? Banks are just going to start refusing your service? What about landlords? What about shops? "I'm not serving you food, you're a Nazi." Where on earth does this go? Do we just want these people to be sleeping on the streets and starving, begging, saying, "I'm sorry I ever criticised Islam," or "I'm sorry I ever said something that wasn't true"? This is the thing that really bothers me. This is permanent. There is no redemption from any of this. There is no apologising, there is no setting these things right. This is being used punitively and permanently. I didn't really know much about Robert Spencer, so I thought I'd get the uncharitable reading of him and go to his Wikipedia page, and it turns out his views on Islam really aren't exactly that radical. Spencer does not believe that traditional Islam is inherently terroristic, but he says that he can prove that traditional Islam contains violent and supremacist elements, and that its various schools unanimously teach warfare against and subjugation of unbelievers. Literally anyone who has done any reading about Islam can prove that. However, he rejects the notion that all Muslims are necessarily violent people. He has said among moderate Muslims that there are some who are genuinely trying to frame a theory and practice of Islam that will allow for peaceful coexistence with unbelievers as equals. By the definition that the London police use for Islamophobia, Spencer doesn't qualify as an Islamophobe, because he doesn't view Islam as inherently evil or terroristic. He doesn't think that all Muslims are violent or terroristic or hate the unbeliever or anything like that. He actually has a nuanced view of Islam that is completely in line with what mainstream scholarship would suggest. And yet he has been pulled from MasterCard. He's not allowed to have an account with them now, which means he's not allowed to have an account with Patreon. I can only imagine that in Stefan Molyneux's case is because he's just come back from a successful tour of Australia and New Zealand with Lauren Southern, where they both did an excellent work. They both handled themselves brilliantly in their interviews, being interviewed by progressive media hosts as if they were aliens that had come from another goddamn planet. And they handled themselves absolutely magnificently and got some stunning wins over the SJW-style journos. And suddenly Molyneux gets back and he gets 2 strikes on his account. Weird coincidental timing, that. So the alternative media sites that I use are Minds, Gab and BitChute. So it might be worth following me on those, just in case they run out of right-wingers to target and now have to start on the centrist liberals. Minds is by far my biggest alternative platform. I've got over 100,000 subscribers on it, over 8 million views. I've spoken to Bill Ottman on many occasions, and he's a man I trust not to start arbitrarily censoring people who use this platform. He has made an explicit commitment to free speech. As I understand it, Minds has raised over $1 million in a recent crowdfunding campaign to develop the platform into something more than it is, but what it is already is actually quite impressive. It operates as a mix between Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. I primarily use my Minds account to store all of the sources for the videos that I do, because you can write articles and post blogs to Minds as well. You can use it; it's really flexible. I use those for my sources, so I'm confident they'll be there in 5 years' time if I ever need to go back to them for some reason. Gab.ai is like a free speech version of Twitter. Again, its founder, Andrew Torver, I think his name is, has made an explicit commitment to free speech, and it operates very much like Twitter, and it's obviously as easy to use as you'd expect. I've got 22,000 followers on there, which isn't bad considering I only ever just post links to videos and things that I've done. I know I don't use this as much as I should, but generally the people who use Gab are quite woke to the problem of the far left, and I'm interested in waking up the normies. So I have to use, well, I used to use Twitter, but I have to now use Facebook and YouTube in order to reach the normies. But once you've got woke, it's probably worth your time subscribing to your favourite creators on Gab, because ultimately When Twitter gets rid of them, that's where they're going to go. And as an alternative platform to YouTube, I use BitChute. And I've got to say, I've got a real fondness for BitChute. I love the conception of it. So YouTube have massive banks of servers, and they're constantly adding new servers to increase the storage capacity as people upload videos. BitChute operates like BitTorrent for videos. So when you load a video up in the browser, the video itself is being streamed from multiple different computers in the same way that BitTorrent works. And so this means that there is no particular storage capacity for BitChute, and ultimately I think this is the model that's probably going to end up winning the competition, because it's such a damn effective model. And obviously it makes censorship a remarkably hard thing to do, and again, BitChute have a direct commitment to free speech. I'm not sure if they've got monetization options yet, but I'm absolutely certain they will do in the future. So if you're a creator, it's worth getting a channel on there now, and the software they use can automatically pull your videos across from YouTube, creating a backup from the YouTube channel, which is just remarkably convenient from a creator point of view. And apparently I've got nearly 15,000 subscribers on BitChute, which is pretty good. I'm quite proud of that. But I bet Styx Hexenhammer's still got way more than me. I've only got 14,000 subscribers, and Styx Hexenhammer has 25,000. That's not on. I'm not happy about it. So come on, guys, subscribe to me on BitChute so I can beat Styx. Look, you can see in the back of his videos, he has a little BitChute plaque. Seriously though, this censorship issue has gone too far. They just won't stop because they believe blood is in the water and they can get us all now. If they can get us all now before the next election cycle comes up, they realise that Donald Trump will lose a key source of political strength and influence. They ignored us, they laughed at us, and now they are fighting us. And they're fighting us because we are having an effect. Because we are making changes. Because we are having an effect on the real world. We have to keep going. Oh, on a final note, if you're a content creator and there's content that you enjoy, don't be afraid to promote it. We should all be supporting one another when it comes to this. There are things in which I disagree with Styx. There are things in which I disagree with Stefan Molyneux, Lauren Southern, and Robert Spencer, I'm sure, every other creator that I've talked about in this video. But that doesn't mean their work has no value. You should not be afraid of supporting or promoting these people if and when they do something of which you approve, even if they do other things of which you disapprove. The only people who benefit from the isolation of alt media figures from one another are the people who are targeting the alternative media with censorship. It doesn't benefit anyone in the alternative media to be isolationist at this point. We're all in the same boat here, and if you think they're not going to come for you, then to be honest with you, I think you're just wrong, and I think you're deluding yourself. I think they are going to come for every single person they can come for, and it's only the fuss that we kick up that makes it not worth their time to do it. Honestly, this is probably going to get a lot worse before it gets better, so I guess I'm going to be the content creator on Minds who's got the nicest home studio that I just made. I got this done, and then suddenly this great big censorship scandal comes up, and I'm like, fuck, I'm probably not going to be able to keep this.